was just shitty in general. I feel like that's so mean. Maybe I shouldn't say that. I might cut that out. I feel like it was shitty in general. And then I said it again.
She'll be the death of me, at least we'll both be numb. And she'll always get the best of me, the worst is yet to come. But at least we'll both be beautiful and stay forever young. This I know, yeah, this I know.
Alright, hey guys, it's Jocelyn and welcome back to my channel, Jocelyn Reads. Today I'm going to be doing a book review, a non-spoiler book review on Enchantee. But first, let me know if you like it better when I sit right here or when I sit like more on this side where you can see me next to my TBR cart. I think the lighting's better here, but I'm not sure if you'd rather just see my books behind me. So yeah, I'm going to be reviewing Enchantee. It was the Banana Buddies book club pick for the month of March, and I finished it. So this book takes place in Paris. It's historical fiction with a bit of fantasy. Is that magical realism? Like, I don't know. It has a lot of subgenres in this book. But basically it's about a girl trying to survive during the French Revolution when her parents just died of, I think, smallpox. I'm pretty sure her parents died of smallpox, and then she's left with her younger sister and her older brother, and they're trying to find a way to eat because they literally have no money. And she has this thing called magic, but it's in French. I don't know how to say it in French, where she can turn coins. I'm not gonna hold this up the whole time. She can turn coins into currency by using magic. The problem with her magic is that the coins don't keep their shape. Like, after a while, they turn back into the metal that she used to make them. So in order to combat this, because she pretty much conned every single person who lived near her, she goes to Versailles. She plans to use her magic there to win card games. So I think this book, I don't want to say anything else because I don't want to spoil anything. I'm not sure how, like, I'm not that familiar with what you guys would think is a spoiler. So I'm just going to hold back a little bit on that. So I rated this book 2 stars out of 5. I was honestly surprised. I was expecting to fall in love with the book, but I didn't. The book just fell flat for me. So the problem I had with this book was not the writing. The writing was good. It also had a good representation. There's a gay main character in this. I haven't heard anyone mention that, but yeah, there is a gay main character. And I think the book is also historically accurate. If I'm looking down, I'm looking at these notes that I made just to keep me on track with my review. So the problem really with this book was the pacing, the plot, and the characters. So like everything that wasn't the things that I just mentioned. So I want to start off I'm going to go through the plot first. And with the plot, I'm going to intertwine talking about what was wrong with the pacing, because that was basically what was wrong with the plot for me. It was little aspects of the plot, but mainly it was the pacing of the plot. So yeah, the story starts off with the pacing being fun. Like, everything happened as I expected it to happen, just to introducing me to the story. So I think the beginning of the novel was good. I was not interested in the beginning of the novel just because it might be my own preferences. Like, I don't like historical fiction, so yeah, it was setting the scene and I was like, okay. I mean, I'm not a historical fiction fan. Yeah, that might be why I wasn't enjoying the beginning. I was kind of bored, to be honest. The writing was good. It's just I wasn't engaged in the story in the beginning. It took me about maybe 80 to 100 pages to actually care about what was going on in the story. I wasn't connecting to the main character. She was just, I mean, I should have felt bad for her in a way because she's like trying to help out her family and she's poor, but I don't know what was missing, but I just could not connect to the main character in the beginning of the book, and I was just like reading just to read it because I wanted to get more engaged. Once she started going to Versailles to gamble, that's when I got more engaged in the story, and I was like really excited to continue reading because those parts were very engaging for me as a reader. So then that's when it started getting into the middle of the plot, and this is when the pacing really went off for me. Like, I think the middle of this book dragged so much. Like, I was just like starting to get very like confused as to where the book was going because it became very repetitive. Like, she kept going to Versailles to gamble, coming back home, and then doing things at home, and then going back to Versailles, and back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And honestly, it just became very annoying to read because I'm just like, she's just doing the same thing. And at first, I really liked when she went to Versailles because she was gambling, but after a while, even I became disinterested in even the gambling part because it just was happening so much, and it was just becoming so repetitive. And I like 200 pages went by, and she just kept doing the same things, and nothing was really changing. and I was just getting like very fed up with the book at that point. It just was dragging on way too much for me. I can understand that at this point in time her life was repetitive, and that's what the author was trying to convey, but I think it could have been conveyed in a much more efficient way to the point where I wasn't bored, because I shouldn't have been bored reading the book. She could get her point across to the reader without the reader being bored, I think, because in the moment the main character wasn't bored. She was having like very different experiences and she was engaged in what she was doing, but I wasn't engaged as the reader, and I think that's a problem with the book for me as well. And also towards the middle of the book, the romance started progressing, and honestly the romance was fine. It was cute. It was not memorable to me. Like, I wouldn't recommend this book solely based on the romance. I know that's not what it is. It's not a romance novel, but you know, some books are not, like some fantasies you might not like, but you're like, I ship these characters and I really like the romance. I wouldn't say that for this book. It was just average to me. I loved her love interest that she ends up with in the novel, or like that the romance is with the love interest. He's really a sweet character and he has such good personality traits. Like, he's just a sweet little honey bun, and I mean, I feel bad that I didn't like his romance, but he was a sweet little honey bun. In the middle of the book, there's also this subplot where the main character is helping the love interest. I don't know if this is a spoiler, so I mean, it's not that big of a spoiler, but I'm gonna hold up this book, and if you think this is a spoiler, then you can just wait until I put down this book to go to the next part. But yeah, so the main character is helping the love interest with a balloon at some point in this novel, and it's like throughout the whole middle of the book, and honestly I did not care about that balloon. Like, it had I didn't, I'm sorry, like I did not care about that balloon. Like, it kept getting to the parts about the balloon and I was like, okay, the balloon, and I just started skipping through. Like, I didn't skip, I just like read them really fast because I'm like, I don't care about this balloon. Like, it did nothing for me, and I think it was just like too much going on at that point. Like, she's going to recite a gamble, she's helping with this balloon, she's doing this and that, and her sister's doing stuff, and I'm just like, okay, like, I just feel like the balloon was not necessary, and I just skim read those parts. Like, I like the aspect that the balloon showed, like, women empowerment, with her being the only girl who's a part of the balloon making process and like testing and things like that. But other than that, I just like was like, every time the part she went to go work with the balloon, I was like, okay, cool, the balloon, like, let's get past this fucking balloon. Like, I don't care about the balloon, I'm so sorry, I don't. So after that, after all this repetitive stuff, like 200 pages in, maybe like 250, actually no, like the first part of the book was 100 pages, the beginning. Then the middle part was maybe like 200, 250 pages. So by the time I got to around 350 pages, when there's only about 50 or so pages left in the novel, that's when all the rest of the stuff happened. The climax, the falling action, and the resolution happened in 50 pages. So the amount of time that the middle of the book dragged is when they should have started with the climax and the falling action and the resolution, because the book wrapped up way too quickly to the point where I was like, what the heck? Yeah, the book wrapped up way too quickly and it was too neat. Like, what the fuck? Like, after all this happened, the characters just started acting fucking dumb just to further the plot, basically. The characters just were so naive and stupid at the end of the last 50 pages that I literally had to rant about it on Twitter, because I'm like, what the actual hell are they doing? Like, it didn't make sense. Like, it was just irrational. Like, what the fuck? Nobody in the situation would have been doing what these characters were doing, and I just feel like they weren't even acting like themselves. It was just a mechanism by which the plot could like be wrapped up. Like, they had to do these stupid things so then the climax could happen, so then the falling action could happen, so then the resolution could happen. But for me, I'm just like, what the fuck? If you're writing a book, shouldn't all of that be in mind as you're writing? Like, I feel like that should be planned out. Like, why is the middle dragging on and then like all this shit is like squeezed together at the end? Like, to me it just seemed like she didn't know where the book was going, and then she's like, oh fuck, I have to finish this. Like, she just keeps doing the same thing. Kind of need to end this book, it's 400 pages now. And then she's like, well, I'll write these last 50 pages and that'll be the end of the book. Like, that's how it felt to me, honestly. I feel so mean. Like, I'm not trying to be mean to the author or anything like that, but this is honestly how the book came off to me. Like, I was just reading it in the middle wondering, where the fuck is this going? And then I got to like page 400 and I was like, well, shit, the climax, now the falling action, now the resolution. And it all happened in 50 pages, and I was just sitting there like, what the hell? Like, And then in order for that to happen, like I mentioned before, the characters were being dumb, and it just pissed me off because, like, I don't like when authors make characters act irrationally for there to be a problem and then for there to be a solution so the book can be done. Like, I feel like it should be better planned out, because to me it's just unrealistic, and then I don't care. Like, as I was reading the ending parts, like the fight scene, the climax, blah blah blah, I was just like reading it like this. Like, something would come up and where I'm supposed to be like, oh my gosh, and I would just be like, cool. Like, I just did not care towards the end of the book. I thought it was just like lackluster at the end, and honestly I just feel like this book was not what I expected it to be. Like, I wanted it to at least be like a 4-star read, and it was a 2.5, closer to 2 now that I'm talking about it, because it just didn't go anywhere. Like, the pacing was so off that it just made me disinterested in the entire book. Like, it wasn't good. So now I'm going to talk about characters. Honestly, I don't give a fuck about these characters. Sorry, I don't. Like, I'm going to talk about Camille just a little bit, just because she's the main character, but I'm only going to talk about one other character other than Camille, because they just weren't memorable to me. I didn't leave this book, like, with a new favorite character, with nothing. Like, I was just like, okay, I read the book. I'm happy I read it for the book club, and that was about it. So Camille, I'm not going to spend much time on Camille. She was the main character. She was fine. Like, there wasn't anything where I was like, nothing. There was nothing memorable about her. Like, I didn't hate her. I didn't love her. She was just there. She was the main character of the book. She made some stupid mistakes. Well, not mistakes. She just did stupid things towards the end of the book where I was just rolling my eyes at her. But I didn't care about that bitch enough to... Oh, was that rude? I didn't care about her enough to, like, honestly, like, actually be mad at the stupid mistake she was making, because I was like, the author is making you do this just so she can end the book. And I understand that you're actually not this stupid, because you weren't this stupid throughout the entire novel. So it's fine. I didn't blame Camille. I blamed the author. The reason I wanted to do this part for characters anyway was only for me to talk about Alan. Alan is her older brother, and her older brother basically is just like a bad guy because he's addicted to gambling and he's addicted to drinking. I don't think that's a spoiler, because it's literally, I'm pretty sure it might be in even the synopsis. But yeah, he's addicted to gambling, he's addicted to drinking. So he's just a bad guy, according to the author. And I want to talk about Alan because he's such a fucking two-dimensional character. I've never read something where the character is so fucking obviously two-dimensional. Like, it kind of reminded me of New Adult in a way. Like, I love New Adult, but you know those characters are fucking two-dimensional as fuck. So, yeah. He was just so two-dimensional. He was like a Scooby-Doo villain, like a bad TV show villain, where he was literally just there to do shitty things and then leave, so then there could be a problem. And I just didn't like that, because I like my villains to be fleshed out, and he honestly was not. Like, he was just there to further the plot, and I know every character is there to further the plot, but this was just so fucking obvious that I was like, he doesn't even need to be in this book. Like, they already had another villain, and I just think it was just unnecessary for Alan to be another villain. And I didn't learn anything about Alan except that he was a shitty person. And I know Alan was suffering for addiction, so this could be a part of his, this could be like a reason for his shitty actions. I guess that's what the author was trying to convey, but it just wasn't an excuse for the shit that he was doing. He was just doing some dumb ass shit. Like, honestly, this is the worst older brother I've ever seen in my entire fucking life. He's terrible. So all in all, like, the book, I enjoyed the parts where she was gambling in the book until they became repetitive, and I enjoyed the writing, and I enjoyed the representation of the gay main character. But other than that, the book just pissed me off because, like, it just wasn't going anywhere, and then it just wrapped up so quickly that it was just fucking stupid. And then the way it wrapped up was the characters just acting dumb throughout the last 50 pages just so there could be a conflict, just so that conflict could be resolved. And I hate that I can look at the book and see that. Like, I want a book with more substance than that. So that's why I didn't like this book. That's why I give it 2.5 stars. Really, now that I'm talking about it, I'm getting pissed again. So I would probably give it more of a 2-star. I need to chill. Like, I just got mad, so I'm sorry. But it was just not what I expected it to be. And yeah, I'm happy I read it, and I wanted to hear more of the Banana Buddies' thoughts on it. But other than that, I'm done with this, and I'm probably gonna unhaul it. Okay, so thank you for watching, guys. Subscribe and comment down below if you'd like. And yeah, have a good one.